You are listening to the Dr.Grande podcast. Another episode begins right now. Hello there. It's been a while. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to another episode of Dr. Grande podcast. I am thrilled to be back in studio, and all will be explained over the course of this episode of what the hell I've been doing and what the hell is going on. So, stay tuned because we're about to get in it, ladies and gentlemen. And another warm welcome to all you joining. Thank you so much for listening. I know it seems maybe Doc, you guys probably are going like, Doc, you abandoned us. What happened? Well, I'm here to explain. And I have another message for you. So, what happened? Where have I been? If you haven't been social media, this is the time, ladies and gentlemen. Just a friendly reminder, hint, shameless plug, that if you're not following me on social media, you are missing out on most of the action because I was keeping everybody up to date, what I was doing, where I was going, everything via social media. So if you weren't aware, I went to the good old New York City, the city that never sleeps, the city of big dreams and opportunity, which we're going to talk about big dreams and opportunity here in a second. But I went there because I had family there. Now, I will say, my initial plan was to stream while I was in New York City, and I actually brought the camera, I should say, and a what do you call it? One of those gyroscopes or mobile tripods. I don't know the names of it. We got so much equipment now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know the names. But I brought it with the intent to stream. And that didn't happen, as you may or may not know. And some of you might be mad at me for it. And if you are, I'm sorry. Please don't hold it against me. But the reason I didn't stream is because I went there, like I said, I went to visit family. And, things happen where I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stream it or be consistent with it. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just not going to do it because if I'm going to stream, if I'm going to do something, I want it to be entertaining, not boring. And especially, I'm just the person, if I'm going to put my name to something, I want it to be entertaining of a certain quality. I'm very particular about what I do, if you haven't guessed. That's why there's been a hard push on the stream for the quality, the video quality, the audio quality. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I do it for you guys because you guys deserve it. And I want you guys to enjoy it and have something that is top tier. And so I felt like I couldn't do that. And plus, I was working a lot with my uncle because my uncle has his own business. And I was doing a lot of stuff with him. And doing... well, I'll say he's an electrician, doing electrical work and part of my time over there, I don't think would be the most entertaining. And so I decided not to do it, but I did keep you guys updated with the cool stuff via Instagram story, mostly Twitter and social media, Snapchat, if you will. If you haven't followed me there, why aren't you following me yet? That's the question, okay? But it's good to be back, and I have to tell you, I did not know. I did not expect or have any expectation or any idea of where this mini vacation trip would go. But let me just tell you, it was more than I had hoped, wanted, dreamed, could have wished for, planned. It was a trip of a lifetime. And, it was interesting, the timing of this trip, because it was kind of like, I wanted to take some time away. And, I recommend taking some time away, getting out, because after a while, you start seeing the same old things and you get, your mindset in the same old frame of mind. You see the same old things. You drive by the same old highway every day, and you start getting into this what I want to call it, a fixed mindset. Can I call it that? They call a fixed mindset, and you just feel like there's nothing new or exciting or any opportunities or anything like that, because it's just the same stuff over and over. It just seems over repetitive. And interesting enough, as I was feeling that way, and I was talking to one of my good friends, and they're feeling that way right now. And I was able to share the story about my trip and stuff that I'm going to share with you here on today's podcast that helped them a little bit. So I was right there with what I'm describing. I felt like I've just seen everything, things are just days going by. I've seen Washington State. Washington State's just the same. I'm driving the same route, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to get away because sometimes you need that fresh breath of air. You know what I mean? You need that fresh of perspective. And I'm not saying you have to travel to like New York or anywhere to do that, but sometimes a little getaway, even if it's a day getaway, maybe it's on a different part of your state, helps with that. And I do recommend getaways. Now, you don't have to go all out. You can do it on a budget. You don't have to, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it. But you can do something that works for you. And so, again, I kind of went into this not knowing what to expect. I went into this not knowing what I was getting myself into, but I'm glad I did it. Because I went into this city, and keep in mind, during the pandemic and COVID, New York City got hit hard. It got hit hard, and you could kind of see the effects or the after effects, if you will, there at New York City, because it is, it's still recovering. But I went there, and you look at places like, if you've ever been to Seattle, if you've ever been into the King County area in Washington State, if you're familiar with that, and you think that's a big city. Compared to New York City, Seattle is a mini, tiny, not even 1% of New York City. If you want to see a city of buildings, a city of lights, a city of people, go to New York City. It's truly the city that doesn't sleep. It's truly the city of opportunity. There's so much opportunity in New York City. And the funny thing is, where I'm at in life, it's that, I was at, or still kind of am, trying to transitioning, but I'm in a state of pause. And I believed I mentioned that in previous episodes where, you're kind of like growing in life, or you have something happen. I had my father passed away, and from then I've been dealing with that and the after effects of that, and it kind of brought new questions. It's like, what do I want to do for the next 5 years? And I've been kind of talking with you guys on ideas and stuff I'm sharing, especially when the new year is just around the corner. Can you believe it's gonna be 2022? It's right around the corner. So, especially this time of year, it's important to me, in that I like to think about, like, what am I doing this year? What am I going to accomplish this year? And so, and being in the state of pause, like I was saying before I went into New York, I was wondering, what the hell am I going to do? And I was wondering, like, what can I do? And so this is my mind frame before I got on the plane, before I got in the city. But, sometimes maybe you are in that position, just like my friend, that you're just wondering, what the hell am I doing? You may be working a same job that you worked for maybe a few years, many years, and you're just tired of it. You're in a position where you're just like, I've been wanting to do something. I wanted to achieve my goals, my ambitions, but I haven't been able to do it yet. And you're waiting for that perfect moment. And you're waiting for that time where you will feel that it will happen. But let me just give you something that I've learned through my trip is that there is no perfect moment. I remember when I had one of my very first very serious relationships. We were young. I was a senior in high school. She was a junior. And she was already talking about kids. And I realized that too, like a woman, having kids is important. And it's not that I didn't want to have kids. It was just when she was telling me that, I was concerned because I kind of had this idea that we had to have everything lined up to have kids. And looking back, I was thinking about like, we just finished high school. We don't have a good job. We don't have enough money. We have to save. We have to have all this stuff. But the truth, and thinking about this and reflecting about it many years later, I realized there's not the best time to have kids. Unless you're, well off from the get-go and just have millions of billions of dollars, it's not really a ideal opportunity to have kids. And if you wait, and if you keep putting it off, saying, we'll wait till we're in a better position, that better position doesn't come, and you eventually won't do it. And like a lot of our dreams, we have this thing where we're waiting for that ideal situation. We're waiting for that ideal moment when we check all the boxes to pursue our dreams, our happiness, and our ambitions. So what I want to remind you of, and I want to kind of just reiterate, is that there is no golden moment to do so. And that you should do it regardless of the status that you may feel you are in. Because you have to start somewhere. And if you don't start somewhere, you're never going to start. And most people don't reach their goals, achieve their dreams, make them realities is because they never start. Not because they fail. Failure is not the problem. It's how you look at failure. Like I've said in earlier segments, it's how you view failure. It's what you learn or do not learn from failure that makes a difference. But most people, they fail and give up, but a lot more people don't start. Don't take that first step because there is uncertainty. They have to get out of their comfort zone. And so they're not willing to go forward with the first step to go to their dreams. And then what happens? They live in regret. They live in disdainment for themselves and the situation. They get bitter about other people's situations. They get bitter about other people being successful, but they're not willing to take the first step for themselves, and I don't know why. Going back to the example of my girlfriend, we were together a long time, and I could have made that step, but I had the wrong thing in mind. See, you can have the right thing in your heart and on paper and your ideas in your head, but if you have the wrong thing in mind, if you have the wrong process, order of operations, if you will not obtain the right result. So because I let one thing corrode my mind with what we had to do, it affected our relationship. And so the question this week is, what is it that you have in mind that's preventing you from taking that first step or continuing to take that step? Because it's not just taking the first step. I mean, if everybody just had to take one step and they unlock all the riches of the world and their goals and their opportunities and their dreams, there would be a lot more people taking that one step. That would be a hell of a step, let me just tell you. But the next step, not playing on words here, but the next step from taking the first step is that undying, unwavering commitment to do it on a daily basis and keep doing it till you end up with the final result. And remember, it's not the destination that's so much important as it's the journey to get to the destination. And so I'm thankful for going to New York because it reminded me of how much, when I looked at that city and I met the people that I met with, I was reminded of how much opportunity there is in this world. I was reminded of the opportunities that I had and have. That there's stuff worth living for, fighting for. There's dreams to be had. There's dreams to be made. There's goals to be met. Because people were doing it all the time in New York City. I watched it. I saw it happen. In the very two and some change weeks that I was there, I saw a lot to convince myself that there are things that people are doing every day to achieve what they have. And, you know, it's fun to watch somebody else's success and see the great stuff they're doing, but you can't forget about yourself. And you can't just sit and compare yourself. Well, he's successful and I'm not. And I don't know if I'll ever be successful because he started with his dad who knows the business. And who cares? Who cares? Do me a favor. Stop comparing yourself. Stop saying what you don't have. Stop saying and looking at what you don't have. Because if you're looking at what you don't have, you're not focused on getting what you want and what you have. You got to start somewhere, and you got to start with what you have. That's step number one. You got to start with what you have. You got to have in mind not the stuff you don't have, the stuff you're going to have. It's all about mindset. You know, the mind is the most intricate and I think the most wonderful creation in all creation. The mind is so complex we barely understand it. But the people who have been successful and the people who've been able to unlock true talents of themselves, riches, fame, fortune, have learned to train and conquer the mind. The biggest battles that you face are not with other people and other entities. It's within your own mind. So when you see opportunity out there, or you're waiting for the next step, start looking inward at what you have in mind. Are you ready for the next step? Are you allowing your mind's allowing you to see the next step, the next opportunity in front of you, or are you having the wrong thing in mind, preventing you doing that? Are you just full of negativity in your mind where you're so negative that you don't see that there's a golden opportunity sitting right in front of you? I know life's unfair. I know life sometimes does things that it just goes, why me? Why did I have to be the unlucky one? Of all the people in the world, why does this have to happen to me? Why now? But let me tell you, if you focus on the past, if you focus on what you don't have, you're going to be there all damn day. All damn year. And pretty soon, your friends are moving forward in life. They're pursuing their dreams, their goals, and you're still at the same spot. And I've been there. Trust me, it's not fun. Because I believe in life that you should be advancing to some degree of your next steps and going forward in your life and your progression and your careers and your personal life, your relationships. But you stay stagnant when you have the wrong thing in mind, when you're focusing on the wrong thing. And so when I went to New York City, it showed me the dreams, the commitment, the opportunity, the success that people can have if they keep true to themselves, their goals, their beliefs, and keep the right things in mind. And it taught me that if I'm not knowing where I'm going, I'm in this pause mode, is because there are thoughts that exist in my mind preventing me from moving forward. See, a lot of times we look for to blame other people. We look to blame other things, but sometimes we hold ourselves back. Don't think you don't hold yourself back, but most times than not, we are the cause of holding ourselves back. Because someone might do something that not fair to you, that hurts you, but you have the ultimate decision and choice what to do next. That action that happened to you in the past, that thing that someone said, that person that left you, that cheated on you, that did you wrong, played you dirty, doesn't have to be the last action in your history, in your year, in your month. You can overcome that. And sometimes it's hard, but the power to let things go is so crucial. Most of my problem has been that I have not been willing to let certain things go. Not because I did that intentionally to prevent myself, but because there was something so dear and so thing that I didn't want to accept the reality of the situation. But when you get past that, and you get the wrong thing that you have in mind out of your mind, there's a moment where you go, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I think of this sooner? I should have done this way before. And before you get on that track and beating yourself up of why you didn't do this sooner, I could have done this 5 years ago, whatever. What I said, keep the right things in mind. So let me tell you, there's a New York City out there for you. There's a thing out there for you that should be a reminder of all the good things you have in life. I mean, I kind of talked about this during Thanksgiving. About the good things that you have in life, the fortunes you have in life, things you even take for granted, such as health, family, friends, whatever that may be to you, should be the thing that motivates you every day to live better, to get up every day, not dreading every day, and to get up with a positive mindset and a positive attitude. So you don't have to travel to New York City to be reminded of that, as I have, but there are little New York cities in your life. Because I tell you what, I can go to New York, you and I can go to New York City together, and we can both see different things and feel different things looking at the city. We could be at the same exact point, looking at the same exact view, and conclude two different things. We might have some things similar that we conclude, but we may also have things that we conclude differently, looking at the exact same thing. So what is your New York City? What is the thing to remind you that there is opportunity for you, that your dreams are worth fighting for? What is your motivation? And I would encourage you to write those down and don't let yourself forget it. To remind yourself, keep it in the forefront of your mind. Lose the comparison factor of having to compare and keep up with people and the Joneses. Lose that. Because if you are working day in and day out, being consistent, and reaching your goals and your dreams, you will reach it inevitably, and you will learn so much and make so much connection that it would be worth the wait, the time, and what I call the building of character, so you can truly enjoy and really grow within the dream once you reach that destination, once it becomes a reality. It's not just something that's in fantasy that fades away, that it can last. There's a reason things work the way they do. So that is kind of my takeaway from going to New York. It's a beautiful city, a lot of beautiful people, And it was a reminder of what you can accomplish if you set your mind to the right things. The vast opportunities that are there, whether you're in New York, Washington State, Florida, whatever state you're in, whatever part of the world you're in, there are opportunities out there. You just have to make sure that you have the right thing in mind to allow you to see it and go for it. And although, their criticism is hard to deal with sometimes, especially when it's from the people that you think should be your biggest supporter, such as your family. At the end of the day, any goal, any ambition you have, you do it for yourself and nobody else. So if you need to take a day, a week, couple weeks to refresh, break out a new journal or a piece of paper and write down what is it that you want in life and want to accomplish. Now is a great time, more than ever, especially starting a new year is a good time to do it. But here's the funny thing about New Year's. Everybody does it. They said, my New Year's resolution is blah. My New Year's resolution is da, But a large majority of people don't keep up with it. I mean, look at going to the gym. Everybody's New Year's resolution, don't know why, is going to the gym. So they'll go to the gym, they'll buy a new workout outfit, new workout shoes, maybe a workout watch and whatever, and they're ready to go, right? And they're going, and they're like, I'm going 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and they'll go. But then comes that fatal day. Maybe after a week, maybe after 2 weeks, maybe after a month. Where they're like, I'm not going to the gym today. I worked hard. I'm tired. I deserve a day off. And then what happens? They don't return. They keep telling themselves, oh, you work too hard. Oh, you got to be there more with the kids. The wife, blah, 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 blah. And guess what? They give up on their dream. And then what happens? Some point an hour later, they see their friend who was a good steward of keeping committed and keeping the commitment of going to the gym have results, and they get bitter. They're upset. They're sad, and that it wasn't them that accomplished it. So what I'm saying is, as we prepare for 2022, write down those goals, those realistic goals. I'm not saying limit your thinking. I'm saying write down what you really want. Figure it out. Don't write down you just want to be happy. Why do you want to be happy? Don't write down you want $1 million. Why do you want $1 million? You got to figure out the how. You can write down, I want $10 million. That's a great goal. But if you don't have an idea of how, you don't have to have all, well, now don't get me wrong, you don't have to have all the logistics figured out, but you have to have some ideas. You got to start brainstorming until you make a foolproof plan. Take some time to think about it. So with whatever goals you have and what you want in life, write them down first, and then write down what is your start, like kind of blueprint, your first step in making that happen. And you just got to chisel away every single day, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, an hour, 10 hours, 1 hour, 1 minute. You got to make sure you dedicate the time to it. Most people write it down. They have it. It looks cool in their little notebook and stuff like that. And they feel good. They wrote it down. But most people don't reach it because they don't put forth the effort or the commitment to do it on a daily basis. Or they psych themselves out. Like, oh, that's too big. I can never do that. Hey, it takes the same amount of effort to make $1,000 as it does $1 million. The difference is the commitment. The difference is the energy, the time, the effort spent. Like, I'm learning to be more, how do I say this? More, like I've been saying in a previous episode, cautious of how I spend my time. I literally revise my daily routine. where I wake up early. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got stuff to do because I have goals I want to do. So I'm trying to soak up. We've only got so much finite amount of time on this earth. So I'm trying to soak up as much time in productivity and taking those steps daily towards my goal that I can reach my goals, my ambitions in life. And I know you can too. And so I just want to encourage you and maybe bring some of this optimism, the new fresh perspective that I've received from going away to you and say, like, the world's not dead. Opportunities is not dead. Coronavirus did not ruin the world. It kind of shook us because it made the way the world operates change a little bit. But again, change is a natural part of life, and we should embrace change and be innovative in how we deal with those changes. And I believe you can too. And if you can figure out how to do that, you're going to go well in life. So I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be back streaming and keeping the podcast going. And I appreciate you guys for bearing with me, while I was gone. But I'm excited to see you guys and be back in the mix. Full swing, by the way. We're not cutting down anything. And I want us to set up, I sincerely do. I want us to set up 2022 as a great year of accomplishment and opportunities in our lives. And I think we all deserve that, and I think you can do that. And if we stick together and we hold each other accountable, I think we will. That's just my prediction. I have a strong prediction, strong, call it a hunch, feeling about it. 2022 is going to be a great year. All right, guys, thank you. I appreciate whether you're watching this on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you so much. Be sure to give your feedback. If you have a topic that you want to hear, things you want to discuss, you want to give your input, please email me. Go to drgrande.com, doctor spelled out, and click on email doc and tell me what you have to say, and I'll look forward to it. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.